Welcome to Sam's Business Growth Show. I'm Sam Dunning, a digital marketing, sales and business growth evangelist. Tune in and subscribe today as I'll be interviewing business leaders, experts and entrepreneurs from around the globe. You'll be learning their story, how digital marketing has helped them along the way, and exclusive tips and insights to help you skyrocket your own business. I'm truly excited to be joined by my friend today, Costas Perkas. Costas is the sales director for one of the UK's biggest conference organisers in the world, actually. Costas brings a whole wealth of experience to the table in both sales and leadership, having developed and managed many salespeople, sales managers and directors across the UK and Singapore. As an ex-military officer, he also brings experience in managing and making decisions in very critical situations. Costas, lovely to have you on the show, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, very well. I mean, I'm enjoying my early hour of sunshiny day. Although yesterday was doing a lot of work in the garden, and it's just a beautiful day. Shame that we're in self-isolation.
That's it, man. You've had some really, really sunny days in the UK, and like you say, it's just a shame we have to be cooped up. But at least we get to go in our gardens with a beer, hey?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. Cool. So there's loads we want to cover today, Costas. The audience are keen to know some of your strategies that have helped you along the years in terms of sales, in terms of marketing. We'd love to know any digital marketing strategies you recommend to sales reps, marketing reps, and business owners listening in. But first and foremost, we really want to learn your story. So ever since leaving school, we want to know where you grew up. We want to know some of the key business roles you've had leading up to your current role and what you've learned along the way. So if you could tell us a bit of background, let's learn a bit more about Costas and some of your highs and lows.
Okay, so I guess the most relevant part here is my previous sales experience, and I'm 47 this year, and I've noticed a lot of people that are around my age. I was listening to a podcast with Corey Bray. Do you know Corey? He's a US author, Corey Bray. He's written some great books. Keith Rosen, a favorite author of mine, and they both say that they're roughly the same age. Maybe Keith Rosen is a bit older than me. And they all said that they started doing sales door to door, and I did sales door sales at uni for 6 months, and looking back, you just get experiences. Nothing prepared me for later on for my career. But looking back at my experience back there, door to door, I realized that prospecting is pretty much 50% of the deal. So anyway, I came to the UK, and I had a choice of choosing a stable career that doesn't pay much money. You stay on a 2% pay rise, 3%, 4%, depending on what's happening in the markets for 5 years, or I could risk everything and go for the money and choose a career in sales. And I chose the latter, and I'm glad I did, because it has paid off handsomely in terms of my development as a person, but obviously financially as well. So when I came here, I was looking to find my first sales job, and I found my first sales job. I stayed there for about 4 or 5 months. I did ask for a stupid pay rise. Looking back, it was a completely stupid pay rise. They said no, and I said, great, I'm going to go on holiday. Then I came back, found a great job, did it for about a year, and then the business was sold to another business, and I had to move to the Midlands. So I was again looking for a job.
All right, Costas, just before we carry on, so am I right in saying you're from Greece? So you moved from Greece to the UK.
Yeah.
Did you go to uni in Greece?
I went to uni in Greece, yeah.
And you mentioned a sales job that you were doing door to door. What was that? What were you selling when you did that?
Yeah, we were selling laminated instructions of PCP and how to give first aid. So it was a 2-page laminated folder, and my friend, he was doing it for longer. He wasn't making a lot of money. So I remember he had a bike, and he used to go around houses over the weekends. And we were doing that, but we weren't making a lot of money. Not many people were buying. And one day we just went to this guy's house, knocked on the door. We told him what we were selling. He said, yeah, can I get 10? It was the first time. I mean, we used to sell 10 in a day. It was the first time someone said 10, and I said, well, talk to me more about why you want to buy them. And he said, look, I work for the government, and every office in the government building has to have one of them. Ka-ching, that was the money moment where we switched our strategy. So instead of working Saturdays and Sundays, we went into working Mondays to Fridays and targeting government offices. And we made a lot of money for 6 months, enough for me to go and enjoy a great luxurious holiday in one of the Greek islands. So
Awesome,
that was my first success and first taste of sales.
Nice, man. No, that was our last holiday actually, Greece, me and my fiance. So cool. All right. So it sounds like you learned where you needed to tap into in terms of your key audience.
Prospecting, literally, who's going to buy your product? That was the biggest lesson there. You're 50%. You have a 50% chance of completing a sale if you speak to the right customers, if there is need for your product.
Okay. All right. So then you moved over to the UK, and then what was your next role, Costas?
Next role was selling for a Greek company, import and export. So I was completing sales in the UK for Greek products. I did this for about, I would say 5-6 months. This is when I expected a huge pay rise. I didn't get it, and I left, and that's fine. I think we parted companies. And then I found this job. That was 2001.com. I guess it was like a web portal where we were selling advertisement space to retailers.
Oh, okay.
That was a great job. It was a huge office, a lot of people, funky music playing, great young environment. I really, really enjoyed it. And I was doing well. I was one of 4 salespeople. So I remember in my last 5 months, I was in the top 2, which meant that I was progressing. But like I said, the company moved to Midlands, and well, I couldn't move to Midlands. I came here to live in London.
Got it.
So I had to find another job.
So how long were you there for?
For about a year, maybe just over a year.
Did you learn anything along that way, Costas? Because that was quite a transition from what you were doing before in terms of door-to-door selling and things.
Yeah, I guess what I've learned is that I've learned the retail space a bit better. I've learned about what the retailers back in, what was that now, 2001, 2002,
Okay.
What were their challenges back then? And you were trying to push people to actually advertise on a web portal on the web, where not that many people had access to or buying things from the internet. So it was challenging. But again, because we were targeting big retailers, it was a concept that they could understand. They wouldn't invest a ton of money, but they could understand the concept, and they would just buy some advertising space.
Cool, man. Okay. So that they sold up, and then you moved tracks somewhere new.
Yeah, and this is when I secured another role, which I was able to start in, I think, 3 months timelines. And that was before Christmas. And I remember a friend of mine was working for the company I work now, WBR, and said, do you want to, just for Christmas, you want some money? He said, do you want to come and do a contract? And I said, great, I can work for 3 months instead of doing nothing. So I started doing that. I did it for 3 months. But what that became apparent to me is that the earning opportunity, it was tremendous. And also because we organize conferences, I could work on different products, different sectors every 3 to 4 months, which for me that really, it was interesting because sales, like any other job, you can get boring and repetitive. But the minute you change products, you keep the variety happening.
Yeah,
and keep on going.
Definitely agree with that. Definitely need a bit of variety, don't you? It doesn't matter what you're doing, if it's work, if it's outside of work. Cool. Okay, so you started as a sales rep and worked your way up, did you, Costas?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the way from sales rep, sales manager, managed half the department, took the department, launched another business unit, managing the Singapore office, tripling the number of people in the UK office in probably 12 years. Sorry, 12
Awesome.
years as director.
Okay, so you've been there quite a few years now. So there must have been quite a few insights and tips and tricks that you've picked up over the years that you could share with our audience in terms of what you've learned, how you were able to progress from kind of entry level sales right through to sales leadership. So yeah, if you could tell us a bit more about your journey and some of the highs and lows and how you made it happen.
Highs and lows. Well, we're going through a low now, so I'm not gonna dwell much of it.
Sure.
Look, I mean, you know, I keep thinking my oldest son is 13, and in probably what, 8 years, 9 years time, he will be looking for a job. And I guess the biggest learning for me was that there's no substitute for hard work, right? There's, you know, you can work smart, you can be the smartest in the room, but you need to work hard, especially in sales. So I'm trying to instill to my boys the notion of hard work will get you eventually somewhere. And the second thing is that helped me move through the ranks is that I remember one of the mentors that the company was using to develop me told me once, like, if you want to be the sales director, you gotta act as if. You can't act as if you are the sales director when you are the sales director. You need to act as if you are the sales director before you become. So that really just, you know, start centering out my thinking around what does a sales director do? How do they need to be acting on a daily basis? So when the time and the opportunity comes, probably I'm ready, not necessarily in terms of the skill, because you haven't done the job, but in terms of the mindset and the groundwork that you have done for the other departments, your boss's boss, to see you as someone who will take over. That was the biggest learning curve. So I know that what's going to happen after this crisis, that a lot of companies will scale up again. And that will create opportunities for younger people that say, listen, I want to be in people management. My advice would be like, act as if today, as if you are a manager, as if you are a leader of salespeople.
Nice. Okay. And the first point, Costas, you mentioned hard work, but what does that mean in more simple terms? Because a lot of us have a different definition of hard work. For some, it's putting in extra hours in the day. For some, it's doing some work over the weekends. For some, it's engaging more on social media. Some, it's making more cold calls, sending more emails, doing more follow-ups. So what did that mean in your sense of things, Costas?
The simplest way to actually explain hard work that in a way that everyone will understand is the fear of compound interest, right? If you are making one more call, sending one more email, sending one more proposal every single day, one more than anyone else in your department, in your company, the compound interest means that you would have sent way more proposals just by doing that little action every single day than anyone else. So even if you're not a great salesperson, just by having that habit of sending the one more email, making one more call, eventually it will pay back. Now, I will never suggest to people to work longer hours, right? If you can't complete your job within 9 hours, there's a problem. So someone needs to help you fix whatever problem there is. I would definitely never advocate anyone working over weekends. You know, I love my weekends. We need to relax. It's stressful as it is. You don't need to bring any more stress into your weekend. But it's that discipline of doing something more every single day. And the easiest way to understand, just do one more thing that you should be doing every day, one more thing than everyone else in the department. It will get you definitely ahead.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a nice little tip, really, just to go that extra mile, really, and put that extra little bit of work in each.
According to Einstein, the compound interest, the theory of compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. I won't argue with the genius, so that's the easiest way for me to explain what hard work means. For each company, for each individual, we mean different things, but that one little habit can change great things, can make great things happen.
Cool, man. And are there any particular highs that you've had in your sales career so far that you could share with us? Any big wins or any big piece of teamwork that came together?
Yeah, I guess one which is I guess it's relevant to what's happening right now. I remember in 2010, so I took over as a director literally a month before Lehman Brothers collapsed. So my first year, I didn't experience much of growth. But what happened is by the end of the second year, which was 2010, with the same number of products and the same number of people, we grew by about 45%. Now that's a pretty good growth for a department the size of maybe 25 individuals. And it didn't happen because we're the best we have great products. I'm not gonna take anything away from the products, but it didn't happen because we're the best. We're the best processor. We're the best sales department. It did happen because after the crisis, people thought that they should be buying more. And I expect this to happen when this current situation is over. People will be buying more. So that was for me a huge win that I will claim as my own. But it had nothing to do necessarily with the market conditions. And I think it's going to happen again. The other thing is like collaboration. For the past year and a half, we've been working, you know, the whole conversation about marketing and then sales collaboration.
Sure.
Myself and my counterpart in marketing are working very closely together. And testament to that is that last year, the revenue that came in from inbound leads that we can actually track that were inbound leads from marketing's activities grew by about 26%, which it was more than double from the year before. And the easiest thing to because, you know, the many experts, and I'm not a marketing expert, the easiest way to explain why this happened is that we were able to communicate what our customers saying to our marketing department. So we had more meetings with the marketing counterparts, not necessarily to discuss what's going well or what's not going well, but to just give them feedback and give them some evidence of what our customers are saying. So we were recording a lot of conversations, we were playing them, and we then jointly we will work on what the content should be, or what the next message should be about. And that drove a lot of inquiries towards our salespeople, good inquiries.
Interesting. And I bet your salespeople were loving it that year. If sales inquiries, inbound inquiries grew by about 26% or so. Yes, less cold calls.
Yeah, absolutely. It worked for everyone, for the marketing people, because they're still obviously making money from whatever the sales department generates as a business from the net profit, but definitely for the salespeople, absolutely, yeah.
Cool, man. So you're a sales leader, a sales director, right? So what tips do you have for any other business leaders or team leaders listening in to keep their sales reps or marketing reps motivated on a daily basis, which is especially important with the coronavirus that's going on right now?
Yeah, again, I'm not an expert, so I'm not quite sure how much this will resonate. I mean, this is the second crisis I'm going through. I guess the starting point is all about trust. I trust the business I work in, and my people trust me. So when a crisis happens, it's a question of, do you trust the business? Do you trust your business model? Do you trust your leader? Do you trust what they say? What do you think they will do for you? So we're very like in that respect, that there's trust in the business. I posted a few days ago about the advice that I was given in military, which is like never run.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up actually, so I'm glad you mentioned it. I was going to say,
Yeah.
what skills have you transferred through your military experience into the sales?
Well, the not many. I wouldn't say that, you know, the military people make great leaders, because the business world is completely different. But there's certain some things that, you know, they are transferable, like what I learned, which is like never run, because it scares the soldiers. Yeah, I'm trying to keep calm and optimistic. I can't go crazy and say, oh, it's not going to happen, and I cannot go, you know, completely pessimistic. Oh, this is the end of. You have to keep a balance, and you have to keep level head in periods of crisis, because they look up to you to see. People read body language, body signs. It's a sign language that you give in respect of how you feel about a certain situation. So that was the first thing. I remember in early March, I wanted to make one thing clear to my guys. Look, we will most definitely be making less money for the next 3 to 4 months. The minute you take that, you confront this, you know, you just then stay focused on what needs to happen to make sure that the business survives and we all, you know, get out of this with less casualties as possible. So that was definitely something that I learned in the army. You need to keep calm and collected in periods of crisis, because if you lose your head, there's no way that anything's going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's some good advice. And I like the part that you said about transparency. So basically saying, look, sales probably will take a hit right now. However, if we look at playing the long game, so if we look at strategies that are going to build up our sales pipeline, so in a couple months, once this clears up, we can have a lot of opportunities there ready to close new business and drive sales. And
it's really then focusing their efforts on something else. That's why, you know, my strategy about how to get out of this it was about prospecting. I think it's perfect opportunity for mass prospecting and maybe selective selling. No one wants to sell right now, and I can understand that. But mass prospecting, it's really, really important. And the other thing is, like, what I want to do with the department is that I want them to acquire new skills. So we experimented a lot with video messaging, voice messaging. We experimented with copywriting because, you know, you can't expect marketing right now to help you out, because we're in a crisis situation. So we have to learn to become better copywriters.
Yeah, that brings us on nicely. So on Sam's Business Growth Show, we love to take the angle of digital marketing and how that helps you. And I know you said your marketing over the last year have helped your sales team in terms of inbound leads. So yeah, it'd be great to learn what marketing channels has been a success for your business, as well as what has been a success personally. Because obviously we both met on LinkedIn, which is a digital channel, and that's how we started a conversation. So yeah, if you could share a bit more about that, Costas, that'd be great.
Well, as a business, I think that we need to improve our social presence. I think that we have great products. A lot of people in the industry knows those divisions, but I don't think that we could do better promoting those products. So still a lot of business comes through traditional email. So you reach out to people by email, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that we're missing slightly the trick. However, that's primarily for marketing. We obviously have a lot of, we work with a lot of partners, media partners. Again, they push our content and our products out there, and that works very well. As salespeople, though, I've seen over the years a huge transition. Nowadays, if you can't write, you can't sell. Before, it was always on the phone, calling people, trying to find a way. I believe now that, sales, when you actually teach someone a sales process, you need to start teaching them copywriting skills. Definitely for maybe have presence on LinkedIn, but even doing like a more, sniper-like campaign to your audiences, people that you can actually reach, 10, 15, 20 people, maybe have a personalized message, trying to reach out to individuals. So over the years, we're trying to do more and more about copywriting. I mean, I read 2 books, one was what great salespeople do, which is it's about storytelling. It helped me personally with my content on content. Yeah, with my LinkedIn posts, changed the way I write. And what I did see is that I've seen way more engagement when I changed the way I write. And the other book that we're using is the copywriting handbook. I can't remember the title. So these 2 books, we're trying to actually get more people to learn how to write, because you cannot get in front of people, and you need to be able to do a marketing job. I think both roles now, definitely sales are doing more marketing activities than.
Dude, I 100% agree. 100% agree. You'll have to send me the links to those 2 books, and I'll put them in the description for the episode. That'd be awesome. But I 100% agree that sales reps, if they want to go above and beyond, doesn't matter if you're sales rep, marketing rep, business leader, business owner, you need to be putting out your own content. And it needs to be good content, like you say. So I've noticed that your posts over the last few months or so have got really good engagement. And like you say, entwining the art of storytelling is key. And with LinkedIn, because you can get such huge organic engagement, it's free advertising. So all you've got to do is put out one decent post a day. You can get thousands of views, aka thousands of people landing on your LinkedIn profile, which is a landing page, which can then long-term drive inbound leads. Awesome. Okay. So I'm not going to harp on about LinkedIn too much, because everyone listening knows that I love it, and it's a great platform to be on. So Costas, have you got any tips for anyone listening that wants to work their way up to a sales leadership or sales directorship level on the way that they can make it happen?
Okay, apart from the act as if, so you need to literally start thinking yourself as a future leader. Mindset is really, really important. I guess it's what Dan Pink has said in I can't remember which book it was, but Dan Pink said that you need to reach the level of autonomy. So you need to earn the right to be autonomous. So you don't have someone looking over your shoulder. The micromanagement thing, I never understood it. I don't wake up in the morning to go to the office to check how many emails people send out. That doesn't interest me, because primarily I work on the assumption that people want to reach that level of autonomy, that I don't have to check what they do. So the minute you reach that level of autonomy, so you can be self-managed, the second level is to reach the level of mastery. Whatever your skill is, whatever your job is, you need to master it. That is why I'm a stickler for process. Stay focused on the process. Just repeat the process, so you don't become the variable. If you change the process all the time, you become the variable. We have enough variables as salespeople, our customers, our prospects. They're variables. But if you stick to a process, then you reduce the variables. So when you go from autonomy, then you go to mastery. Then there's the last thing, which I think most people do not understand. It's purpose. If you go into management because you think you'll be making a lot of money immediately, or because you want the kudos of being seen as a leader, I think it's the wrong assumption. In the first couple of years, it's a pretty crappy job, if you want my opinion. You're taking way too much work for no great reward. So unless you have a purpose, and your purpose is to develop people, and that's how you're going to be making your money, I wouldn't suggest to other people. So act as if to start with in the mindset. I will go with reach that level of autonomy so people can trust you. Go with master whatever it is that you do, marketing, sales, master it, learn the process so you can teach it. And the last thing is, if you still want to actually become a manager, become a leader, then what's your purpose? Why are you doing it? And if it is about money, it's the wrong reason to do it. It's all about developing people.
Some solid tips, man. So that's some really sound advice for anyone tuning in that wants to work their way up the ladder. Indeed, cool. Okay, so Costas, I think we're coming close to wrapping this up. So what I like to ask everyone on the show is if you could thank just one person, either dead or alive, for having a positive influence on both your career and your life so far. Who would that be, and why?
Oh, without a doubt, it's my wife. 100%. I think that in the darkest of moments, she's always been there. And I remember my father saying that your spouse is like a lottery. If you get it, you'll be lucky. But most people don't get to win the lottery. I think I won the lottery, and without her, I wouldn't have achieved what I've achieved. It's very easy for me. She's not here, by the way, and she doesn't follow what I do. She doesn't follow what I do on LinkedIn because she thinks that I'm spending too much time on LinkedIn. So she wouldn't be listening to that. But that's definitely the person I want to thank.
No, that's it. That's great. I mean, I got to say the same for mine. I don't know how she puts up with me all the time on my phone, checking emails, checking LinkedIn. It's non-stop, isn't it? Cool. All right, Costas. Well, everyone, you've been listening to Sam's Business Growth Show, where we sit down with business leaders, experts, and entrepreneurs from across the globe. We find out their story, how digital marketing has helped them along the way, and their exclusive tips and insights to help you skyrocket your business and your sales. Costas, just before we go, tell us a bit more about your business, how people can connect with yourself, and the best way to get in touch.
Well, it's not very difficult to connect with me. I'm always on LinkedIn. So my business, we organize, I think, the best business-to-business conferences out there in the industries we operate in. So we are a global business, offices in Singapore, New York, Toronto, and London. WBR, Worldwide Business Research. If you work in finance, procurement, logistics, pharmaceuticals, you probably know WBR, and it's a well-trusted brand. Nothing more to say, to be honest. I'm getting ready for the Thursday takedown with the US guys. So I want to ask you if you feel ready to take for the takedown.
Yeah, for anyone listening, well, what we'll do is we'll put a link in the description for both Costas's LinkedIn profile and also the business he's with that are selling B2B events. For anyone listening, what Costas is talking about is we're doing a Brits versus Yanks webinar showdown, which has got a whole host of famous guys in terms of the US and the UK sales leaders. And we've also got me, a digital marketing dabbler. And we're going to be basically, Daryl Prell's going to organize it. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description for that. We'll record the show. So by the time the show goes out, this show would have been played and we'll record it. So we'll put that below. So that'll be good fun for anyone else who wants to spend an hour or so having a laugh at us all compete against each other. Cool. So Costas, thanks so much. The show is sponsored by webchoiceuk.com, helping businesses skyrocket their sales, leads, and brand positioning via results-driven SEO, digital marketing, conversion-focused web design, and mobile apps. That's webchoiceuk.com. Thanks very much, Costas.
Thanks, mate. It was really nice talking to you.
Subscribe today for more digital marketing, sales, and business growth tips from the experts.